In this video, we're going to set up an OpenVPN connection on our Tomato-powered router using SSL certificate authentication. Unlike the static method, which uses one pre-shared key, this type of connection is validated using digitally signed certificates. Authentication happens bidirectionally. This means that both peers, including the client computer and the server, must establish trust with the other peer before the connection is allowed by either device. Now we'll copy and edit the vars bat file. Vars stands for variables and bat stands for batch processing file. Open the command prompt by going to the Start menu, right-click and choose Run as Administrator. Enter the file path to the EasyRSA folder and hit Enter. Type init config and hit Enter again. Now let's edit the vars bat file. Open a text editor and choose Run as Administrator. Go to File, Open, Program Files, OpenVPN, and you'll find the vars bat file inside of the EasyRSA folder. Scroll down and edit the variables including country, province, city, organization, and email address. Leave the common name and other fields alone for now. We'll edit those in a moment from the command prompt. Click Save and reopen the command prompt window. Type vars and hit Enter. Then type clean all and hit Enter again. Now type build CA and hit Enter to build the master CA certificate. The default variables should be pre-populated from the vars bat file that we edited a moment ago. Click Enter for each line to use the default variables. However, be absolutely sure to enter a common name. This can be anything such as a company name. In my case, I'm using the common name Tomato VPN. Now type build key client and click Enter to build the client key file. Again, use the default variables, only this time change the common name to client or laptop or whatever your client name is and click Enter. This step must be repeated for each client device that will be connecting to the VPN. Be sure that each client device has a unique common name. For example, Client 1, Client 2, Laptop 1, Laptop 2, etc. When finished, you'll be asked to sign the certificate and commit. Enter Y for yes and click Enter for both. Now type build key server and click Enter to build the server key. Again, use the default variables with the exception of the common name. Give your server a unique common name. In my case, I'm just calling it server. Once again, you'll be asked to sign the certificate and commit. Enter Y for yes and click Enter for both. Now type build DH to build the Diffie-Hellman parameters. Hit Enter to continue. Now let's create the client configuration file. Launch your text editor and choose File, Open, and navigate to the sample config directory and open the client file. The client file is a sample client configuration file, therefore it's intended to be edited. Lines including the hash symbol are ignored and typically used for instructions or notes. Any lines without a hash symbol are actually part of the config file syntax. Therefore, lines including hash symbols are unnecessary. In my case, I just want a clean config file, so I'll start from scratch. Choose Ctrl-A on your keyboard to select all and click Delete to clear the file. Then, enter the following lines as shown. Obviously, you'll want to replace network specifics such as your remote domain name. In my case, I've already established dynamic DNS for mypublic.net. This is a necessary step for the VPN to work. If you haven't already done so, I'll show you how to do that in another video. When you're ready, go to File, Save As, and select all types. Then, rename the file. I'm calling it homenetwork.ovpn. And finally, click Save. Now we must make sure that OpenVPN can find our files. Navigate to the OpenVPN directory and open the Keys folder located inside of the Easy RSA folder. Hold the Control key and copy the CA certificate, the client certificate, and the client key. Navigate to the config directory and paste the files. Now, go back to the sample config folder and cut or copy the client configuration file. Once again, navigate to the config folder and paste your client configuration file. Navigate to VPN tunneling. Under the Basic tab, ensure that Start with WAN is selected. The interface type is TAP. The protocol type is TCP. Enter port 1194, which is the default port for OpenVPN. Set the firewall to automatic. Set the authorization mode to TLS, and finally, ensure that DHCP is selected. Be sure to click Save and then click the Advanced tab. Click Respond to DNS and Advertise to DNS clients. The encryption cipher is AES 128 CBC. Compression is adaptive. Scroll down, click Save, and then click the Keys tab. Now launch your text editor. Open the certificates and keys and copy them into Tomato. Be sure to include the begin and end comment lines. Once you've copied the files, click Save. And finally, click Start to start the OpenVPN server. Now we'll test our connection. OpenVPN must always be run by a user with administrative privileges. On your client computer, go to Start, OpenVPN GUI, right-click and select Run as Administrator. Right-click the icon in the taskbar and choose Connect. Once connected, the icon will turn green and you'll have a secure tunnel to your local area network from anywhere in the world.